Well, welcome to Life's Milkshake Moment. This is a new time for us now, isn't it? Waking up to Life's Milkshake Moment so you can create your day, so you can create your life, but most importantly, you can create it with my special guest here. When do you get somebody, you get a 2-for-1? Yes. Yesterday we had a little technical difficulties because of the weather. You never know. That is Life's Milkshake Moment. We just choose our ingredients wisely. We can choose to be negative, positive. I've heard our esteemed guests say, if you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right. But Rex is always right. I'm telling you, as a health coach and holistic nutritionist, and truly, a lot of times with 1 million pounds of weight lost in my practice, it's a life coach because I say transformation is an inside job. I know that being a little toddler, my first childhood memory. And what was it? It was this absolute excruciating pain so that I just really keeled over in my bathroom. Why was that? That excruciating pain was from my heart. It wasn't from my tummy. My father had passed just suddenly like that. He went in the hospital, never came home. That was a life milkshake moment that changed the trajectory for me ever, because I found in my lexicon that I had this soulful singing that expelled my tummy aches that I would get. Little did I know that it was a grieving heart. That's what was going on. So you have these times in your life. What happens? I become a professional vocalist. What happens then when I allow my mother to bring me in to be her healer for her stage 4 pancreatic and liver cancer? I found the passion for the rest of my life to give healing and hope. As the song said, there is hope to heal, to go down in, to go up in opportunity, to come in positivity and the law of attraction, to be and live it, and then to go out and empower the world. Why do I share my acrostic of hope with you today? Because our esteemed guest, Rex Sikes, is all that, and a bag of chips, the milkshake, and every other thing that you can think of on the smorgasbord of life. Yes, this is Rex Sikes, life on your terms. Now you let's see whether we can see that with the green screen. Life on your terms. Notice if you look here, I've got things marked. I've read this book a second time. I believe this book will be the next generation of Think and Grow Rich, not because of what Rex has done, but who he is. He gives without expecting anything in return. He gives as he's giving to our Kenyan kids, not once, but twice, being one of our keynote frontline famous speakers on the 18th of September. But he gives of himself, being the father of NLP, being taught by the Buckminster Fuller. He did not fall from that apple tree. He stayed on. And this is what I know, being a part of the Screen Actors Guild, doing all of this has just made him who he is. But who he is someone that you just want to be around and breathe the same air. So this is a milkshake moment to watch over and over and over again, as with great honor and respect, I bring up the Rex Sikes to be here with us today for our morning milkshake moment. Hey, Rex.
Good morning, Jody. Boy, it is an opportunity and a blessing to be with you and the viewers and the people who will be in the summit, and to be able to share with you and also, because of you and the summit, share with the children in Kenya. So that is just truly an amazing opportunity and a blessing. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, and you know what? I'll give you a replay so you can play that introduction over and over again, just because I meant every word of it. So just take people in to life on your terms. Give them a few milkshake moments, those nuggets on your book, please.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be happy to. But first, let me make a few adjustments to my intro. I'm not actually the father of NLP. People call me the grandfather or the OG or the godfather of neurolinguistic programming. but other people actually developed the field. I came in very early on and helped improve the field. And many of my improvements are lasting changes that have literally changed the field of transformational work and transformational agents. People today are using those things that 40 years ago, 30 years ago, people thought were ridiculous and nobody should do and weren't taking the field seriously. And what I did was I brought to the field joy, dance, movement, laughter. I wanted to make things an experience, not just an informational exchange, not where people just sat down and very seriously tried to overcome problems, but realized that learning could be fun, could be enjoyable, and that when you learn something really, really well, when you apply it, you can change it. But rather than being an educational exercise like you learn in school, where you sit down and you take tests and you do all that stuff, I added dance. I added what's called brain gym, which I did not develop, but I incorporated it into the programs, contralateral movements, because when you do these things, you actually use more of your whole brain. My background is in whole brain learning and accelerated learning and meditation and the transformational spiritual arts, performance art, obviously acting and movie making and things like that, presentation. I was a magician or still am, I guess you could say. So, a lot of different things, and a master hypnotist and a therapist have been. So anyway, and my degrees in communication, blah, 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 blah. Enough about me.
Exactly. And because of the fact that you're one of these people like my husband with his 4 PhDs. If we said everything that they did, our time would be over. That's what you've accomplished, but that's who you are. It's application. And that's why, and if we hear these dogs barking up there, it's just your choir. It's part of your fan club. I love that.
Well, this is where I meet a lot of high-paying clients. I do it either in a walk, at the beach, outdoors in nature. I prefer to walk with people when we talk rather than sit and discuss, or, outside on the deck or on a boat somewhere, because, life is going on. Why miss it? And my dogs are here. A plane could fly overhead. Somebody's going to come by and mow my lawn in a little while. They might even start while we're here. But that's just the way it is. I don't have 4 PhDs. I'm not like your husband in that regard. But what I have done is I've applied the knowledge that I've learned. I've always had great access to incredible mentors, whether it was in the movie business, in the spiritual endeavor. By the way, I was a child evangelist from 15 to about 20, and a head of a church. And we created a movement that grew from literally 12 people like the apostles to thousands in Beverly Hills, California. But so I'm schooled in that. But one another adjustment, I didn't personally learn from Buckminster Fuller. My sister, Doria DC Cordova did. But I didn't. I did benefit from what he passed along and reading him and listening to him and things like that. But I wasn't personally involved with Buckminster Fuller. But that said, the point of what I was getting at with these transformations, the proper fruit of knowledge is applied knowledge. So in my book, what I do is I give people a series of practices and principles that you can incorporate, exercises that you can do, and to transform your life. But if you don't do them, nothing's going to happen. So it just becomes an intellectual exercise. It's like going to a feast. It's like going to a smorgasbord, seeing all these wonderful things there, and then refusing to eat any of it. It's not just going to be. And sadly, you know what?
You're going to starve. You're going to starve.
You're going to starve. But what a lot of people do is they go to a buffet, they try something, oh, I hate that. Oh. And then they talk about it all day long. I mean, if I eat something I don't like, I put it down, I go, I'm not going to do that. And I go to the things that I like. And so what it really is about is people learning to be wise in their choices. Focus on what you do enjoy, focus on what you do like, create more of that, enjoy more of that, and let go of the stuff that you don't like. And I'm here to tell people, and I've been telling people this for 40 years, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Your authentic self is incredible. It has infinite potential. It has magnificent resources. And people don't think about it, but all of your limiting beliefs, of which I don't believe there are any, but we use those language.
Yes, we do.
All of your limiting beliefs, all your fears, all your worries, all your anxieties, all your troubles, all your sadness, all your anger, all of that is a resource for you, because in the appropriate context, say sometimes you have to be angry. You have to say, damn it, stop that, and this is what you need to do. You don't live as a victim. Sometimes you have to make some waves. Sadness, grieving is a normal part of the process. People say, well, if I'm happy all the time and I lose somebody, what do I do? You go, well, you grieve. That's a normal part of the process. There's day and night. There's hot and cold. The waves go in, the waves come out. The world goes around the sun 365. days of the year. It's traveling around the sun. There are seasons, and inside an acorn is the potential for an oak tree. Now you can cut
Yes.
open the acorn. You're not going to see the oak tree. You're not going to see instructions. There's no code there that you can recognize, but you plant that seed,
Planet.
and an oak tree can grow. You don't plant the seed, it remains inside the oak tree. So the same thing is true about us. We have infinite potential. We are really, really great. And all we need to do, not fix, not self-improve, not personally develop, but release and let go of the things that we don't want, that we don't like that food. Just put it down and don't revisit it. Let it go. Let your past go. Stop perpetuating it. Stop talking about it. Stop dragging it around. That's Bailey going, yes, indeed, this is right. And
it's the canine choir. It's the canine choir.
Anchoring it in for everybody to remember. So you let go of what doesn't work for you, what you don't want, and you put your attention and your energy on what it is that you do want. And then you nurture it in the same way that if you plant the oak tree, or if you plant a plant in your house, you have to water it, you have to put it in the sunlight, you have to take care of it, you have to nurture it. So you nurture your potential. Yes. And if you do it, you do it. And if you don't, you don't. That's why Henry Ford said, and I didn't say it, but Henry Ford said it, if you think you can, or you think you cannot, you are correct. But my favorite additional quote of Henry Ford is, I never let what I cannot do stop me from doing what I can do. And too many people let what they can't do, their worries, their fears, their anxieties, their troubles and all that, prevent them from living the life that they could be living because they're too busy perpetuating their troubles. Because if you focus on your troubles, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get more of the same. If you focus on problems, this is the thing that people don't get. You know what the gift of solving a problem is?
Oh, but I know you're going to tell me.
Another problem.
Yes.
Because the universe increases and expands. It's moving forward. And while it does, there is chaos, there's entropy, things are falling apart. So as we grow and increase, we become more capable of solving other situations. But if you focus on the problem, guess what you get? More of the problem. You're creating more of the same because your focus is on the problem. Now, here's the difficult thing for people to understand. If you focus on the solution to your problem, you create more of the problem.
Yes.
Because if you're trying to solve a problem and you're looking for the solutions, you're aware that there is a problem. So where is your focus really? It's on the fact that there's a problem. So in order to get what you want to get, you let go of what was a problem. You let go of the circumstance. If you look at your checkbook and you feel bad, and a lot of people do, that's your checkbook telling you how to feel. Is that what you want? You're supposed to tell the world how you feel, and you're supposed to feel it, live from within to without, not let circumstances dictate you. If your spouse, significant other, your children, some barista at a coffee shop looks at you oddly and you feel bad, that's letting someone else dictate how you feel. You have to live as a victor, not a victim. You have to live as a champion, not a loser. That's why I say start winning and stop losing. Live life on your terms. That doesn't mean you dictate to others. That means you create the best life ever for yourself. And then I show you how in the book and in my programs and the workshops and in the kind of talks that we have here.
And you do, because you do it with such grace and ease. And frankly, I think it's very typical that I would say you were taught by this, you created that, you've done this, you've done that. Why? Because you have owned every piece of your learning, Rex. That's why, knowing that we're part of Clubhouse, and yes, it was Clubhouse that brought you all into our lives, and I'm so grateful. But what that is that you are an embodiment of that application, because you've taken this knowledge. Now, we read books. I'm likening this to my husband because I brought him into this. We had some people over here because we're doing a video series on his shipwrecks and what he's done and his archaeology. And somebody said, look at all these books. They said, have you read them? And he said, some twice. How was I able to apply? See, that's what experts do. And Rex, you are one of the kingpins. And I also, before we go on, because there is going to be an amazing workshop with us online on the 18th of September. But I also want you, before we get into that, to let people know if it is possible, if there are seats. I don't know, because this thing is filling up fast. What we're doing with you, Jay Noland, Rex Sykes, and Dame Doria Cordova, where can people—
and Mo Rock.
And Mo Rock as well. So where can you get these tickets? What is that site? Is it transformational? Yes, we have to go on.
Now you ask me a question that I may or may not know the answer to. I've got to try and find it while we're talking. Um, it
Don't we love our phones? But there is, as Rex is saying this, I'm just going to say, can you imagine getting these people, Dame Doria Cordova, executive coach Jay Nolan, Mo Rock, okay, Rex Sykes in the same room? Is that like?
I got it.
And it is
the THE1ONE percenters PERCENTERS period club CLUB / transform TRANSFORM.
okay.
If I can copy it, I'll try and text it to you.
I've got it. onepercenters.club / transform, where you can get these 4 icons together, one place for, I believe, and I'm so excited that I've got my ticket. I wouldn't miss it for the world, for an intensive. So what I'm going to come back and say, as I said to Mo Rock and Jay Noland, I said, I'm considering what we're doing here with XY success strategies, like your preview of coming attractions, because what you're going to be sharing your bit with NLP, Dame Doria, I'm talking about money and you, Jay Noland speaking on whatever Jay Noland does, which is everything, Mo Rock talking about abundance. In those pieces, what you're going to see, 3 of these 4 people coming in on the 18th of September, you're going to say, I want more. So get ready. And what I can tell you about XY strategies, if you're just saying, what is this? Well, I put it on the chat bar, and I can tell you that this came about being a health coach and holistic nutritionist. I did 20 of my 40 years in executive health, because as you're running for the money, well, if your health goes out, they talk about billionaires saying, if we could do one thing differently, you spend all of your wealth then on your health, because you didn't take care of your health building your wealth. And I believe this with all my heart. And I thought, I need to bring this back in to what I'm doing online, like I've done for so many organizations and the Department of Defense. This is kind of one of those feelings, Rex, where when I had my contract with the Department of Defense, this was before 9/11, since we're coming up on this, and they had a riff in the military. All of a sudden, these military men and women were leaving. They were saying, now what? Well, let's get your now what, get it right inside so you can create your next best you, life on your terms, if the book was out there. And yes, it is one of the favorite self-help books, instructional books that I've ever read. I just have to throw that in. But that's what this is, because people are now wondering, now what? X and Y, the male and female chromosome, had to put a little bit of health in there. But, Forbes Riley is going to be doing what Forbes does best with her success strategies. John Leslie Brown is going to talk about intention, inspiration, and I'm leaving the other eye because he's going to be the end note speaker. You are smack dab in the middle, because then people are going to need to take a break after they just digest this and get a snack, because there is so much in there with you talking about NLP, Mo Rock talking about abundance. I said, Dame Doria Cordova talking about money and you, Renee Godfrey talking about how no is not never, being a young refugee from Haiti. And of course, the other famous keynote in front, as I'm saying, frontline speaker, our favorite, Ori Spotto, with wisdom for success. But tell us why you said yes to me. I think that's where I'd like to be in. Why did you say yes again, which I considered an honor beyond belief?
Well, I was, and it's funny that you asked that, because I was just going to say that before you asked that question. I love you. You are one of those people who walk your talk. You're enthused. You're dedicated to helping people, and health is one of the most important areas. I mean, if you don't have your health, what do you have? And so many people need it, and so many people live, as couch potatoes or doing all the wrong things in order to live vibrantly and healthy. We literally, our DNA is programmed to live far longer than we do, and we don't, because of the way we eat and the way we sleep and the way we work and the way we do things. and the fact that they've put all these preservatives and poisons in our food and in our air and in our water, and then people have habits. And you are a champion for claiming back health. You're a champion for living with vitality. You exude it, you exemplify it, and not only that, you want to help people like the children of Kenya, and you bring all these people together, and you serve all of these people, and you do it selflessly. And you know, when you find someone like that in the world, you just want to stick with them. It's like magnet. You know, you want to go, whoa, I need to know this person better, and I want to benefit from them. So I benefit from knowing you in innumerable ways, in immeasurable ways. The
Oh,
value that you have is exemplary, and I really truly appreciate it. And you're a champion for the rights of people, and I mean, all, you know, Jody, you have so much on your plate, and yet you do it with such enthusiasm and energy that people should take that note, that, you know, with everything she's doing, look at the charm and the grace and the energy and the vitality that she exemplifies. So good idea to get healthy, right?
yes, good idea to get healthy. Good idea to go inside with those nuggets of NLP. And you notice on the chat bar, audience, that I did put, you can get Rex's book, you can get his courses, you can get everything at rexsikes.com. REX. You can't, there's only one Rex, maybe T-Rex, but he's not the dinosaur. He's the big man in the house in the 21st century with this. And yes, Rex, you helped us with the Kenya kids, which was amazing, to go ahead with our Hope Seminar, to go ahead and have a situation where now the wall is built around. Okay. Then we did Health Changers in August. We were able to complete the water project. So now we're seeing these orphan children, they're little entrepreneurs. They're selling the water that we created from the seminar with Health Changers, and they're selling it out in the village. Now, what a great, I just get goosebumps every time I talk about it. Now we're starting with the banana trees, because they're growing banana trees, going to do the same thing. And the next project after the banana trees is that we will incorporate more children and middle schoolers into life on your terms, rather than have them out on the streets going ahead and doing bad things and crime. Because then once they're done, I think at 12 or something, they're done, because they don't have a curriculum. Now they'll have a curriculum to get them through those pubescent times on the principles of Think and Grow Rich. Awesome. And that's what our next two projects are. So just tell us anything as we're concluding this, because, what is Rex doing now? He's going over and he's giving his wisdom to the Ukraine. You never know. No wonder my necklace was like this. You just never know what. And the canine choir is saying, yes, Rex. So give us some of your wisdom, which you are always so free to do, and what you are going to embody to bring to the XY Success Strategy Seminar.
Well, I'm gonna bring what the best that I can bring. You know, a very happy moment occurred a few months ago. I don't remember how long ago, but Les Brown called me up out of the blue, and I didn't accept the call. I didn't recognize the number, so I didn't accept it and went to voicemail. And a few minutes later, I went, all right, well, I'll check this, and it's, hi, this is Les Brown, and I love your book. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. So I called him right back, to Les, thank you so much. That's so good. I love you, you know. And so we talked for a while, but it was so good to hear that, you know, from Les, who's God, a champion, mainstay in the transformational arts and the ability to inspire and uplift people. I mean, how incredible is that? I have gotten so many wonderful comments, both from, you know, big people and from people who just reading the book, that I'm really pleased that it's doing what it's doing. And what I want to do is share with people at the summit. I'm sorry, at our conference together.
Yes.
You know,
summit is fine.
Huh? Okay.
Summit is fine.
How they can, again, like we talked about, make life that smorgasbord and imbibe and enjoy more of that. You know, because transformation does come from within to without. It doesn't come from without. And too many people are, like I said, if circumstances are telling you how you should think and feel, what you need to do is stop, drop that, let it go, and then you start telling circumstances what to do. Think of it this way. Viktor Frankl spent a large portion of his, you know, adult life in a concentration camp, and then came out and wrote the book, Man's Search for Meaning. If anybody had a right to complain or to hate his circumstances, it was Viktor Frankl.
Yes.
And yet during that time of imprisonment, he if he think about it, if you're locked up 24 hours a day in a concentration camp where you're being abused, you probably have good right to complain.
You
But
think?
if you spent all those years complaining, how would you don't get your time back? So how would you go through those years? You'd go through suffering and then horrible and everything else. But what Frankel discovered was, you can imprison my body. You can take everything I own away from me, but you can't take what's between my ears and you can't take what's in my heart. And so he came out and he said, look, you got to understand that circumstances shouldn't be governing how you think and feel and live and act. But that's how most of us live and act, because that's what we're conditioned to do by our society and by the media and by the world at large. And that's been going on since the rise from bands and tribes to the state society and local government from a small time, because there have always been people who've wanted to rule and control access to resources, and the only way they can do that is if they mislead, lie, and misinform you. And
we know that right now, don't we?
We do know that right now, but and some of it is intentional, and some of it's just inadvertently. It's in our music, it's in our brands. Think about this: people are walking around as billboards. Yes. For products that they pay lots of money to wear their logos so that they can look like a walking billboard, and they don't get anything out of it other than the idea that somehow that makes them more important or more notable.
They're in the stands. They're in the stands. They're in the stands, but they're not playing the game.
No.
You teach people how to play the game.
So what you do and what I do and what so many of the people what the people on the summit do is to try and help people free up from living the lie and living as sheeple and beginning to claim their lives back, live life on your terms, and make a real difference, not only for yourself, but for the world at large. I always tell people, and this is conventional wisdom, I do a whole lot more than neurolinguistic programming. My work is based on everything from the ancient mystics to the most cutting edge modern science. I'm sure everybody says that, but it is really true. That we stand on the it's like, I don't own anything. It comes through me, and I just let it flow. In other words, I synthesize and I put together things. I have my own voice, my own way of speaking about this stuff that's truly important, and it's easy and simple, and it helps people, from all walks of life, all around the world, claim their life back. But the point is that it's been going on from the ancient times to now, and yet 98% of the people will never do anything with it. They'll buy a book, they won't read it. They'll take a program, they won't do it. They'll go somewhere and they'll say, yes, this is great. They'll do the exercises, and 2 weeks later, they don't do anything about it. If it's kind of like, if you don't put gas in your car and take care of your car is going to fall apart. Now I'm going to say this, and because this is truly important. You're not a car, you're not a computer. We use those analogies like your brain is a computer, but it really isn't. It's a lot of processes, and it's your neural network that wires together. There's something called Hebb's law. I'm not going to go into that, but it says neurons that fire together wire together, which means if that person is upsetting you and you are then complaining about that person, your brain is actually making a cluster of neural firings that ultimately will become habits. So now you go tell somebody, what happened to me this morning? This guy did this, blah, 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 blah. And then you tell somebody else, and then blah, 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 blah. And you go to sleep thinking about it. And your brain is, what it's doing is just like in the old days when you had phonographic records, it's kind of laying down these grooves that when something else happens that's similar to that, because the brain works by association, it takes that pathway. Sure. So now you've got 2 experiences, then 3 experiences, and 4 experiences. Pretty soon you've got this collection, like a cluster of grapes, that trigger these pathways that go off, that perpetuate exactly what you do not want: your sadness, your fears, Now, if God in his or her infinite wisdom, or the universe, were going to put your talents and abilities somewhere, where do you think they'd put them? Right behind your fears and worries.
Yes.
Because you have to go through
everything lies beyond your comfort zone, the fears and worries.
And that's wisdom, because in order to be infinite potential, you have to clear. You don't necessarily have to clear out. You don't have to go in and repair anything. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to find all your limiting beliefs. Guess what? If your life isn't the way you want it, know this: you have limiting beliefs. That's all. You don't have to go find them. You know that, because your life is a reflection of what you think and what you believe and what you say and what you do. So you already have them. If you don't have the money you want, you have a money issue. If you don't have the love you want, you got money. But you don't have to go and figure out why. That's what psychology tells us. Go dig through this. And guess what? That's another distraction, because you'll spend 10 years in therapy or 30 years in therapy trying to find out what the root cause of your problem is.
Because you're not broken.
Because you're not broken, and you're spending all this time digging up this hole to try and find it, throwing dirt everywhere, and you're missing the point. You're missing all the goodness inside you because you're focused on the problems you're trying to solve. Stop trying to solve your problems and start looking into your talents and abilities. Look at the things you do well and nurture those. When you smile and when you laugh, do more of that. When you feel good, do more of that. See, Bailey's agreeing with me.
It's so beautiful. It's the Bailey bark. I love it.
It is a Bailey bark. She answers everything. And Bailey, come here. Come on, sweetie. And so this is what happens, is that people just are focused on the wrong thing. So every time you smile, every time you laugh, every time you go help somebody else, every time you contribute to charity, as people will if they do this program, the seminar, the summit, you uplift yourself. You start the same thing with the Hebb's law. Those neurons fire together. And that's what you want to do. You want to trade the old ones for the new ones. Stop perpetuating the old, the pain, the hurt, the suffering, and all that kind of stuff, and trade them for love and light and energy and passion and goodness and kindness and cheeriness and all those things. So what you emphasize, where your attention goes, is where your energy goes. And
Yes.
Then your brain goes, okay, I get it. And I'm going to give you a very simple example. You either lay down dog shit, excuse my language,
Yes.
or you lay down diamonds. Dog shit or diamonds. Dog shit or diamonds. The point is it's the story of the two dogs inside you. The little kid goes to the wise old man and says there's two dogs fighting inside you, or two wolves, and they're competing, and the kid says, which one wins? And the wise old man says, the one you feed
Yes.
will win. Same thing here. Dog shit or diamonds. You have to choose which you want, and the one you choose, consciously or unconsciously. In other words, if you do it without awareness and do it habitually, you'll keep getting the dog shit. If you choose diamonds, you'll start getting the diamonds. So the point is which do you want in your life? Excuse me. And that's the offer, or the promise, that if you choose diamonds, you're going to get more diamonds. Okay.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And looking at the word shit, since you said it, and you did that because I can't talk about anything about health without it being pee or poop. I just can't. So you put the F inside that word and you get diamonds. Just that shift.
It's indeed. It truly, truly is.
Yes.
And what I've been teaching people, and here's something you'll love. I know you know this, but Travis Air Force Base. I've based so much of my work on some of this, but I've been teaching this for as long as I've known about, which is at least 30 or 40 years. Travis Air Force Base did a study with 152 cancer patients and determined that attitude is the number one predictor in terms of health and healing. And the success of the treatment is dependent on the attitude of the person undergoing the treatment or the procedure or the medicine, because the placebo effect was something that you cannot separate from anything.
No.
You cannot separate from health issues or medicine or anything at all. The placebo effect means if you expect it or believe it's likely that it's going to be good, it will be. The nocebo effect says if you don't expect it or if you think it's not going to work, it's likely that it won't. I got ridiculed in a book by or some researcher who said, Rex Sikes says, and it's true. We're trying to make conscious application of the placebo effect, because the placebo effect is studied more than any medicine that's ever studied. Because
100%.
every medicine is tested against a placebo. Every procedure is tested against a placebo. They can't be separated. In fact, magazines now, it's really funny. They even advertise something as a placebo. There's nothing in it that works. It's just a placebo, and people buy it and they go, my God, this is transformational, because it does work. So attitude is the number one predictor of success in everything.
Yes.
And this is what people need to know, but especially in health and healing. And if you do shift from the shit to the good stuff, you'll get more of the good stuff. And that's all you really have to do. But it does mean wiring in new habits. Now, I'm going to tell you how you do that. And then there will be those people who do and those people who don't. You repeat the correct thing correctly, consistently, repeatedly enough times until it's a habit. And I'll share this, and then I'll stop talking, let you talk. If you wanted to learn how to juggle, you got to know that you're going to drop some balls.
Yeah.
But the goal is to become a really, really good juggler. So you juggle and you drop balls. You have to practice it to get good at it. And the more you practice it, the better you get, the easier it gets, the better you get. And the better you get, the easier it gets, the better you
And
get,
the
the
balls
easier it gets.
go.
And you get more and more. So you start with 2 balls, then 3, then 4, then 5. Then one day you're on a tightrope balancing on one leg of a chair, juggling a chainsaw, an egg, and a bowling ball while eating a sandwich, because you've mastered juggling because you wanted to and you did what you needed to do in order to become a juggler. If you quit anywhere along the line, you won't be a master juggler. And so back in those days, I taught juggling, and people go, "Why are you teaching juggling in an NLP seminar? Why are you teaching juggling in?" Because it's a metaphor, an analogy for how you learn to get good at things. You want to get good, got to get good at it. You got to do it. You have to apply it. The proper fruit of knowledge is action, and to know and not to do is to not to know. It's information won't change you. The proper application of information can change you, but to just know it's not going to do anything.
And Rex, I mean, the application, y'all, you can hear the wisdom. Think about, this is the greatest placebo ever. These 17 people, you will hear the same things that you've heard before, but you will be in a different space. And yes, this is a Ginsu knife commercial. Why did we make it $67 for the online summit? It's my age. I thought it'd be fun. I just thought it would be fun. But as I said, Forbes, you, John Leslie Brown, Mo Rock, Dory Cordova, Renee Godfrey, Ori Spotto. Then we have my collaborative colleague speakers, Tracy Malone, talking about the 7-figure mindset, Dion Davis mindset, Justine Bogorski, $1 million branding, Ashley Patterson, best systems person I've ever seen to help entrepreneurs get to where they need to go. Devin Rodriguez, millennial executive coach, Josh Payne, financial education, and then Kavette Kane being women's education. It is my honor, my pleasure to say that Sandra Horton, I met in the 1%ers, met her as she's a growth strategist, came to me, Jody, we need to do this. I said, well, I don't know what we're going to do. And this is what is so hilarious, Rex. You know what I said to Sandra during this? I said, at least I know it'll be a placebo effect. So there you go. So this is what I know. Be there, because when you are there, you will get more than your benefit. You got wisdom that will be watched over and over and over again, feeling with your heart, feeling with your mind then, because every single one of these experts and famous people on this platform are heart-centered people. And frankly, you've got a growth strategist, my co-host, that you can't put this together if it's not heart-centered. So Rex, I want to thank you for your time. I know that all you need to know, application and action. I want you to leave our audience with your favorite quote, if you would, please.
Well, before I do, let me add something, and that is this. Sandra is awesome. I mean, you couldn't have selected a more wonderful, powerful co-host. I mean, that is truly wonderful, and you are wonderful. So right there, this dynamic duo is an awesome team. So you're going to want to be there just for that. I know most, not all of them personally, that she mentioned, and I wake up every day. One of my practices is gratitude. And I wake up every day, sometimes naming the very same people she named, as I am so blessed to know these people. I am so blessed to walk with them and share with them, and they with me. To be colleagues and to be on the planet at the same time, because people come together at the right time for the right purposes. And it's magic. It's magic. And the other thing is you said, maybe you've heard this stuff before, but if you heard this stuff before and you haven't transformed your life, you haven't heard it. You heard noise, but you haven't heard the message because you didn't take it into your heart. The reason why it's repeated over and over and over again since the dawn of humankind is so that people can wake up. It's like when you're sleeping and your alarm clock goes off and you don't notice it right away, and it's going on for an hour and an hour, and then suddenly you go, whoa, and you go, oh my God, I'm late, because the alarm's been going.
That was this morning. How'd you know?
Right. So the point is you can't hear it enough, because every time you hear it, if you transform, it's something new that you add to yourself in immeasurable ways. So one of my favorite sayings is my favorite quote is my own quote, and I'm going to actually string together a few of them. And one is, exploration is the doorway to adventure. and awareness is the key to change. So
Ooh.
because if you want life to be an adventure, you have to be willing to explore. And in order to change and grow, you have to be curious enough to become aware, and then that awareness will help you to develop and know what to drop and what to add into your life. So with that, I say make all of your moments magical, memorable, magnificent, and miraculous. Celebrate everything, because every moment is an opportunity to celebrate and enjoy the world. If you're not, you could be. And
magical, magnificent for this milkshake moment that I will remember, immeasurably until we climb a mountain together. And what other M I can think of as we go and
marvelous, magical, miraculous, magnificent, milkshake moment.
Yes. And guess what? You are marvelous, and you're every single one of those M's. You are the man. That's the last M I'm going to pre-end this. So be there with us. It will be amazing. The 18th of September from noon to 4 with a bevy of people. Bring a friend, because they will all benefit from them. And the kids will benefit too. Tell Bailey that he's got to change his name to M&M so we can include him as well. And frankly, much love. Do your thing, you and Mo, with the Ukraine. And I will say namaste.
Oh, namaste. Namaste to you and to all of the viewers today. And they can share this video. They can like it, share it, comment. Is that correct?
That is correct. And it will be up. It will be up on to the pin to the top of all my social media within 5 minutes. So
if people want to help the children, not only can they attend,
yes,
and invite people, but they can actually share this video to their walls, their groups, their pages, or wherever, and encourage other people to do the same, so that we create an entire network of people who are sharing this material and thereby benefiting the children. And if you can't attend and you can't pay for it and you can't do it, the least you can do is share it.
Share it. And I'll tell you to go ahead with the kids. I just said their website back to back for kids. Just be there, because when you give from your heart, you get so much more back, because that is you. Much love, Rex. Once again, namaste.
Namaste.